This problem is regarding marginal revenue. The revenue of a business is given below, where X represents the selling price of each unit. So we have R of X equals to 500X minus 10X squared, and then X means the selling price. So let's say the price is equals to 0. So if you plug in 0 to the revenue function, the big R, so when X is equals to 0, you don't get any revenue, right? And then by the way, what is revenue? So let's say you are selling something, and then your price is $5 per unit, and then you sold 10 units, so your revenue is 50. 5 times 10 is equals to 50. Again, you are trying to sell something to make a profit. You charge $5 per unit, and then you sold 10 units. What's the revenue? The revenue is 5 units times $10 equals to 50. So $50 is your revenue. Is revenue means the cost? The answer is no, because to find is revenue equals to profit? The answer is no, because in order to find the profit, you have to take revenue minus your investment, which is the cost. So let's say you invest $10 for this business, you take your $50 revenue minus $10, then the $40 is your profit. So let's go back to this problem. We have R of X equals to 500X minus 10x squared. All right, I am looking for marginal revenue R prime. So when you see the word marginal, that means rate of change, that means derivative. So R prime of X, so the derivative of 500x is equals to 500, and then the 10x squared, you bring the 2 down, so you have a 20, and then 2 minus 1 is equals to 1. So R prime of X, so that is your marginal revenue function. So this, let's box this. And then this is my marginal revenue function. All right, part A is done, but let me give you a reminder. Do you see that on top of the video in red, I said revenue function equals to price function times quantity demanded. I want to give you an what if, because sometimes the problem, they won't let you get the revenue function that easy. So let me put this in red. So revenue function equals to price times quantity demanded. So sometimes they will give you a price function, and then you have to look for the revenue function yourself. They won't just give you the revenue function. They won't let you just get straight to the revenue function. They want you to calculate the revenue function or find the revenue function. So in red, I am asking for this. So sometimes R of X is equals to price function and then times demand. And then they usually just let demand equals to X. So let's say, just for example, so let's say I have a price function where P is equals to negative 0.5x plus 100. So just a price function. And then what's the revenue function? So the revenue function, R of X, you have to take the price function. So you have to take the price function, and then instead of using a P, you can call this a P of X, lowercase p. We need to reserve the big P for profit function. So P of X times X. So you are taking negative 0.5x plus 100 and then times X. So your R of X is equals to negative 0.5x squared and then plus 100x. So in some revenue problem, you have to do this to get the revenue function yourself. The problem won't just give you the revenue function. All right, so be careful if you are in this kind of situation. And then now we are moving on to part B. Part B is calculate the marginal revenue when the selling price is $20, $25, and $30 per unit. All right, let's get that. So what happened when X is equals to 20, 25, and then 30? I am asking for the marginal revenue. So I need to calculate R prime of 20, and then R prime of 25, and then R prime of 30. Easy, you just plug it into R prime, right? So you have 500 minus 20 times 20, and then you have 500 minus 20 times 25, and then you have 500 minus 20 times 30. So just do the math. So the 20 gives you a 100. and then the 25 gives you a 0, and then the 30 gives you a negative 100. So what is R prime? R prime is derivative. Derivative means the slope. So when x is equals to 20, the slope is positive. When x is equals to 25, the slope is equals to 0. When x is equals to 30, the slope is equals to negative 100. So we have increasing, constant, and decreasing. So that leads you to the next question. What selling price use the maximum revenue? So selling price, there is a typo. So how do I fix that? So selling price, can I just cross this out? So selling price use the maximum revenue. What's the selling price? Explain. So that means, how do you find the maximum? So what is the revenue function looks like? The revenue what's the graph looks like? So the revenue function, we have R of x that is equals to 500x minus 10x squared. What's the graph looks like? Set square. That means a quadratic function. Quadratic function means a parabola. Is the parabola opens up or opens down? The answer is opens down, because negative 10 is the leading coefficient, that the coefficient of the x squared. This is negative, that means the parabola opens down. What is an open down parabola looks like? An open down parabola looks like this. So we have a parabola that opens down, and then what about the slope? When x is equals to 25, we are right here. We are at the top of the mountain. When x is equals to 20, we are right here. When x is equals to 30, we are right here. So we have x equals to 20, x equals to 25, and x equals to 30. What about the tangent line? When x is equals to 25, we have a horizontal tangent line. When x is equals to 20, we have a tangent line that looks like this, going uphill, and then when x is equals to 30, the tangent line is going downhill. So where is the maximum? The maximum is right over here. So when x is equals to 25, R prime of 25 is equals to 0. Therefore, there is a max. When x is equals to 25, we are at the maximum of the parabola. Now, you might ask me, hey, did you just pick the number and get lucky, right? Maybe you pick 20, 24, 26, and then 30, then you won't see the 0. Is there a way to find the maximum without doing guessing? I cannot just keep guessing 21, 22, 25, 26, 29, and then 31, so on and so forth, and hope I will get the slope equals to 0. Can you just find the 25 using algebra? The answer is yes. So first of all, we have to recall that R prime of x that is equals to 500 minus 20x. All right, so this is the marginal revenue function, and then this stands for the slope. At the maximum, look at the graph. At the maximum, what's the slope? At the maximum, what is the slope of the curve? At the maximum, the slope of the curve is equals to 0. That means you have to set the slope function equals to 0, and then you solve for x. So you have negative 20x equals to subtract 500 on both sides, and then once you divide both sides by negative 20, you will get x equals to 25. So that means R has a maximum when x is equals to 25. How do I know that it's a maximum, not a minimum? Because look at the leading coefficient, the number right next to the x squared, that is negative 10. That means the parabola opens down, then at the top of the mountain, that is a maximum. What if that is a positive 10? If that is a positive 10, that means the parabola opens up like that, and then at the vertex, we have a minimum. If that is a positive 10, all right? If that is a positive 10, we have a minimum. If that is a negative 10, we have a maximum, because negative coefficient means the parabola opens down, and then at the top of the mountain, we have a maximum. And then if that is a positive leading coefficient, the parabola opens up, and then at the bottom of the mountain, we have a minimum. Alright, so that is the end of this video. If you think my instruction is clear and helpful, give me a like, share the video for me. If you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button before you move on to the next video. I will see you all in the next one. Signing out.